Hello everyone. So in this session 6, we are going to learn about the types of rotary compressor. So already we have discussed the two types of rotary compressor, that is lobe type and also the vane type. So in this session number 6, we are going to learn the construction and working principle of a centrifugal compressor as well as the axial flow compressor and its application. And also in this session, we will going to compare the reciprocating and rotary air compressors, how these two are get differentiated. And also after this completion of the session, so one can know the importance of the rotary compressor and also the working principle of both the centrifugal and axial compressor, so with the help of the suitable schematic diagram. So dear students, so in previous class we have discussed about the classification of the rotary compressor and its application. So why we are using the rotary compressor and how it will get differentiated with the that is reciprocating air compressor. And also generally this rotary compressor have been classified into 4 categories. One is rotary blower compressor, so which is known as the lobe type compressor. Second one, vane type compressor, and third one, the centrifugal blower compressor, or we can say a centrifugal compressor, and fourth one, axial flow compressor. So as we just highlight what we have discussed in a previous class, in previous session, so we have discussed about the two types of rotary compressor. One is lobe type and second one is vane type we have discussed. Just I will highlight this. So what do you mean by lobe and what do you mean by vane? So here you can see the animation of the lobe type. So here we have used the 2 lobe rotary compressor. It may be a 3 lobe or it may be a 4 lobe. So depend upon the application. So we can use the 2 lobe or 3 lobe. So here in this I have used the 2 lobe rotary compressor. See, as we discussed, so this is a casing or you can say housing, and this is a inlet valve through which the low pressure air will be get sucked or drawn into a chamber, and this is a suction chamber, and whatever the red color you are seeing, so this is a discharge chamber and this is a outlet, so where the high pressure will be get exit or discharge. So dear students, see, as we know, so these 2 lobes are connected with the rotor. So in this what you are seeing, so this is a rotor. So these 2 lobes are connected to the rotor, and further, so these rotor are fixed and these rotor are fixed parallel with each other, and this one and this one. So these 2 rotors are placed parallel to each other, and one rotor is fixed to the drive, which is acts as a driver, and second rotor which is acts as a driven. So here it is connected to the driver, is connected to the motor. So when the motor is going to rotate, the rotor is also rotate, and further as this lobe is connected to the rotor and this lobe is also going to rotate. So this is if it is rotating a clockwise direction, and opposite lobe or rotor will be rotating in a anti-clockwise direction. So both lobe will be rotate opposite to each other. So how it works? So as these 2 lobes rotates, so what happens? So at a high speed, so suction will be created at this suction, that is suction chamber. So due to the suction or vacuum, so the low pressure air or atmospheric air will be get drawn into this chamber, and while moving this both lobe clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, so here we have a small clearance between these 2 lobes, and the air will get entrapped between that gap, and it will force us towards the high, that is outlet or exit. So the high pressure air will be get stored in a discharge, and through discharge chamber, so it will be drawn into the exit, or it will get stored into a pressure vessel. So this is how it will works, that is 2 lobe pump, that is rotary air compressor, you can say. And also we have discussed about the vane type. rotary compressor. So same thing. So vane type means it consists of a rotor. So as you see here, so this is a housing or casing, and this what you are seeing, this is a inlet and this is a outlet, and here this place is called as a discharge chamber, and this is a suction chamber. The suction wall, and this is a discharge wall, and this is a discharge chamber, and this is a suction chamber. And here the vane type rotary compressor consists of a rotor. So here at the center, so we have a rotor, so which is placed eccentrically inside the housing. So this is a housing, and this is a housing, and this rotor is placed eccentrically. Eccentrically means the center point of the rotor and the center point of the housing is not at a same point. So the point of the center point of both housing as well as the rotor will be changes, right? So that is eccentrical. It is not a concentric, it is a eccentric antithety. And this rotor is placed eccentrically inside the cylindrical housing. And here you can see the rotor provided, this is a rotor, and this rotor is provided with the slots, and this you can see this is a gap. These slots are connected to the rotor, and these are the blue color what you are seeing. So these are the vanes or plates, so which are fixed into a slots. And the eccentric position of the rotor so allows the plates to converge and the diverge as it moves around it. So how it works? So similarly, when the rotor rotates, because the rotor is connected to the motor, and when the motor is rotating, the rotor is going to rotate. So as the rotor moves at a high speed, so in this suction, what happens, that will be created the suction or vacuum will be created. So due to the vacuum, the atmospheric air will get drawn into this housing. So as the plates is moving radially or eccentrically, so this air will be get entrapped into between these plates, so that it will be create a high pressure, so that the high pressure will be discharged through this discharge chamber. So this is how the vane type compressor or rotary compressor will be works. And these are very important for the point of examination. Sometimes you may ask, classify the rotary compressor and explain any one like this. You can ask the question, or the question will be explain the construction and working principle of two-low rotary compressor or vane type compressor. Like this also the question will be going to arise. So next we will learn the third types of the rotary compressor, that is centrifugal compressor. So what do you mean by centrifugal compressor then? So what do you mean by centrifugal compressor? So here the centrifugal compressor, the compressor as we know that it is used to compress the low pressure air into a high pressure air. So what do you mean by centrifugal then? So here the centrifugal compressor is nothing but, it is also called as a radial compressor because the air is going to compress radially. So it is called as a radial compressor or a centrifugal compressor. So both are named. That is, the centrifugal compressor is also known as the radial compressor. And this centrifugal compressor, it is used to convert the mechanical energy into the pressure energy through centrifugal. It flows through by radially, which is called as a centrifugal compressor. Got it? Or sometimes you can say centrifugal compressor is nothing but it is a device or mechanical system, so which is used to convert the low pressure air of any vapor. You can take the fluid or you can take the air of any low pressure vapor, it will get converted into the high pressure with the help of the centrifugal force. Got it? What do you mean by centrifugal compressor? The centrifugal compressor can be defined as, it is a device or it is a mechanical system, so which is used to compress the low pressure vapor into the high pressure vapor with the help of the centrifugal force, which is called as the centrifugal compressor. So you can see here the schematic diagram of the centrifugal compressor is given left side, and the small animation I have provided at the right side. So before moving to this, so I will just highlight the construction of the centrifugal compressor. So centrifugal compressor, it consists of the main three parts. One is impeller, and this what you are seeing, this is an impeller, and this is a diffuser, and whatever the outside line you are seeing, so this is called as a volute casing. What is that? Casing. So which is designed like a volute. So it is called as a volute casing. And this portion is a discharge portion. The air will be get sucked here, and the air will be discharged through this outlet wall. And for the impeller, so in between the impeller, so this what point you are seeing, so this is called as a impeller eye. What is that? The center of the impeller is called as impeller eye, so which is used to drive rotor, or it is connected to the drive shaft. Right? This impeller eye is connected to the drive shaft. So let us see what is the function of impeller, diffuser, and next casing. Right? So what do you mean by impeller then? So here this is an impeller. So on this impeller, so it consists of various vanes. Number of vanes are connected to the impeller. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the vanes which is called as a impeller. Impeller which is consist of various vanes, and these vanes are used to produce high velocity of the air with the help of kinetic energy. Got it? So these are the impellers. Number of impellers are connected, and the main function of this impeller are used to produce the high velocity of the air with the help of the kinetic energy. And next, what do you mean by diffuser? So what is the main function of this diffuser? And this diffuser is used to convert the low pressure into the high pressure, and also the high velocity into the low velocity. As we discussed in applied thermal second chapter, you can learn the convergent and the divergent nozzles. So just like the divergent nozzle or convergent nozzle, it will work. At the entrance, the main function of the diffuser is nothing but it is used to increase the low pressure into high pressure, and it is used to convert the high velocity of the air into the low velocity of the air. So that is the main function of the diffuser. And what do you mean by casing here? So what is the main function of this casing? So volute casing. So what is the main function of this casing? So main function of the casing or volute casing is it is used to increase the air pressure to a highly compressed air. So the main function of the casing is nothing but it is used for increasing the air pressure to get the highly compressed air, and that compressed air will be get drawn through this outlet chamber. So this is the main function of impeller, diffuser, and the volute casing. Got it? So next, how it works? So as we discussed, at the center of the impeller, so we have connected the impeller eye. So this impeller eye is connected to the driven shaft or the external source of the engine, right? So when the motor rotates, so this impeller eye will be going to rotate. On this impeller eye, the impeller blades are provided. So along with that, so impeller blades also moves or rotates, right? So see here, the main working principle of the centrifugal compressor is nothing but, so when this impeller rotates, the air will be enters into the impeller eye. Okay, so when this impeller blades rotates, what happen? The suction will be created, or the vacuum will be going to create, and through this impeller eye, the air will be going to sucked in, and it is that is radially it will be going to suck, and at this the velocity will be low, and atmospheric pressure also the low. So due to the centrifugal action of the impeller, so what happens? The air will becomes and enters into a diffuser, or that is impeller. And now the high speed of the impeller results in a rise in the high velocity of the air with the help of kinetic energy, and now this air will be going to release in the impeller, and it enters into the diffuser. Got it? So when the air is get sucked radially, it will be flows through the impeller blade, and through the impeller blade, so it will going to increase the kinetic energy, and from that, when the air releases the impeller, so it enters into a diffuser. So where in the diffuser, the low atmospheric pressure is going to increase to the high pressure, and the velocity will be going to decrease in the diffuser. And next, this diffuser, what it does, so this will be get collect. So when it is rotating, it will be going to collect in the casing, and the high pressure air will be through the casing, the high pressure air will be going to discharge through this outlet valve. So this is a working principle of the centrifugal compressor. You can see here. So this is a discharge and this is a casing. What happened? The air will be going to suck in through the impeller eye and radially, so it will flow through the impeller blade, and through the impeller blade, so it will next enter into a diffuser, and in diffuser, so it is going to compress the air from the low pressure into the high pressure, and through casing, the compressed air will be get discharged through this discharge valve or exit ಅಂತಂತ. So this is how the centrifugal compressor works. So next, so these are the applications of the centrifugal compressor. Centrifugal compressor, it is used in gas turbines, in automobile turbochargers and superchargers, natural gas processing, oil refineries, refrigeration, air condition, HVAC, and in all the applications. So this type of centrifugal compressor or rotary compressor are used. Next we will move to the axial flow compressor. So these are four type of rotary compressor, that is axial flow compressor. Next, what do you mean by axial flow compressor then? So here also saying the compressor, so which is used to compress that is low pressure air into the high pressure air. So how axially it will be flows. So how the air is going to move? It is moving axially, so that it has a continuous path. So in this axial flow compressor, the flow of the air is having a continuous path. So let us see. Axial flow, so this is schematic diagram I have provided. So this is a suction chamber and this is a discharge chamber, and this is a rotary blades. So I will show the another figure. So you can see here. So this is a rotor, and this rotor, on this rotor, so we are providing the number of rotor blades right? And these rotor blades are fixed on the or coupled on the rotors, and these rotors are connected to the driving shaft or motor, right? And at the bottom you can see, so this is called as a stator. What is that? A stator santantivi, and it is fixed, it is not movable. Rotor will be movable, it will rotate, and the stator will be fixed. And on the stator, so we have the number of slots, what you can see, these are the number of slots, so which is called as the fixed blade. So these are the fixed blade, which is called as a stator blade. Clear? So in axial flow compressor, so it consists of rotor, stator, and rotor blades and stator blades. So these are the four main components of the or elements of the axial flow compressor. You can see here. So this is a rotor, and on this is a rotor blade, and this is a stator, and these are the stator blade. And rotor will be going to move because it is connected to the motor, and this stator will be fixed, and on this stator the stator blades are also fixed, right? Whatever the slot you are seeing, so in this slot the rotor blades will be going to rotate, so to create the maximum pressure inside the housing. So and also if you see, the design of the axial flow is same as the diffuser. So diffuser ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? So diffuser at the one side it has a larger area, and another side so it has a minimum area. So when the air is going to flow inside the diffuser, so the area where it has consist of maximum area, there when it is flows through the minimum area, so the area, that is the pressure will be going to increase. So when it will flows from the higher to the lower area. So you can see this is a design. So this design is like a diffuser, right? To get the maximum pressure, so that the design is made up like a diffuser. Okay. So how it works? So what is the working principle? The working principle is same. So same, when the shaft rotates, along the shaft the rotor also going to rotate, and on the rotor, so we have provided with the moving blades. So these are the rotor blades which are called as a moving blade. So it is going to rotate at a high speed. So when it rotates at a high speed, so what happens at this point, the suction or vacuum will be going to create through that. So the atmospheric air will be rushes or drawn into this chamber. So when the air is going to enter into the chamber, so what happens, the kinetic energy will be induced, and this kinetic energy will be going to connect, that is convert into a static pressure. Got it? So what happens, the where is when air, atmospheric air moves inside the chamber, so what happens, the kinetic energy is going to convert into the static pressure. So due to this, so there is a decrease in the area. So you can see this is a shape. So due to this decrease in the area, so the air, the atmospheric air will be going to compressed, because the air will be entrapped in between these two, right? So this is a stator blade and this is a moving blade. The air will be entrapped in between this clearance space. So what happens? So here the kinetic energy will be more, and here the kinetic energy will be less. So due to the up and down, that is decrease and increase in the kinetic energy, so what happens? So we will get the continuous flow, and also you can maintain the compressed, the high compressed air. So we can maintain from the first point to the last point. So due to this, so what happens? The high compressed air will be get discharged through this outlet wall. So this is the principle of the axial flow compressor, right? So this is a, you can see this is this by this figure, so one can understand easily. So what is our blades? What is the rotor blades? What is the rotor? What is the static? And what is the static blade? Right? And what is the application of this axial flow rotary compressor? So similarly, this axial flow rotary compressor are used. So where? So we need the high speed. So in the especially it is used in the ships and gas turbines, jet engines, and blast furnaces and air separation plants. So all this type of axial flow rotary compressors are used. So next last topic, so we are going to discuss, that is, so we are going to compare the reciprocating and rotary air compressor. This is very important, students. So in examination you may ask, so compare the reciprocating compressor and rotary compressor. So see what are the first point, compression of the air take place with the help of piston and cylinder arrangement with the reciprocating motion of the piston, right? So what happens in the reciprocating compressor? So we are using the piston cylinder arrangement to compress the air from the low pressure to the high pressure. But what happens in a rotary compressor? So the compression of the air take place due to the rotary motion of the blade. So there, so we have the reciprocating motion, but in the rotary compressor, so we have the rotary motion of the blade. And here in the reciprocating compressor, the delivery of the air is intermittent, but in the rotary what happens? The air flows in a continuous path. So this is the main difference between the reciprocating and rotary. Reciprocating compressor, the pressure ratio is high, but in rotary compressor, the pressure ratio is very low. That is, it delivers low pressure at the exit, and at the reciprocating compressor, so deliver pressure is high. And the flow rate of the air is low in a reciprocating, and the flow rate of the air is high at a rotary. And automatically, you can see this is very important. So due to the unbalanced force, so the speed will low in a reciprocating. So in rotary compressor, as the rotary elements are very minimum, and because of that, so all the elements are perfectly balanced, so that the speed we can maintain at a high speed we can maintain in a rotary compressor. That is, the balancing is perfect in a rotary compressor, and the balancing is unbalanced in a reciprocating compressor. And here in reciprocating compressor, so we have the moving parts very more compared to the rotary compressor. So in rotary compressor, so we have very less amount of or less number of moving parts, and here reciprocating, so we have more number of moving parts or elements, we can say. And due to increase in the high temperature, so what happens in a reciprocating compressor, it needs a proper lubrication, and also the maintenance will be very high in a reciprocating compressor, because so due to the up and down movement of the piston, so it increases the high temperature. So due to the high temperature, the lubrication and the maintenance is very high in a reciprocating, but it is very less in a rotary compressor. And due to the low speed of rotation, it can't be directly coupled to the prime mover, but requires the reduction in the speed. But what happens in the rotary compressor? So rotary compressor can be directly coupled to the prime mover. So as we have discussed, the rotors or shafts are directly connected to the motor. So motor rotate ಆದರೆ direct ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಮದು rotor ಅನ್ನ rotate ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. But it is not like that in a reciprocating compressor. And here in reciprocating air compressor, it is used for the small quantity of air at a high pressure is required. But in rotary, so large quantity of air will be generated at a low pressure. So here for what we are doing at a high pressure, so what we are doing, the small quantity of air is produced. So but in rotary, it is used where large quantity of air at a low pressure is required. So these are the main difference or comparison between the reciprocating and the rotary compressor. So this is very, very important, because so many times as asked in the examination, that is compare the reciprocating compressor and rotary compressor. So thank you friends, and this completes your unit 5 and the last session. So just you have to practice the schematic diagrams. If you want the good marks, so you have to practice the schematic diagram and write down the construction and write down the working principle of all these different types of rotary compressor. Okay, thank you one and all, and all the best for your upcoming examinations.